Hello everybody, this is Guillermo Arellano. In this video, I wanted to talk to you about testing, and in particular, testing for testing's sake. In Angular, when it comes to performing and validating and confirming the quality of the code that you deliver, you have two forms of testing: the basic one and the one that most developers are familiar with is unit testing. And the second one, and the more advanced, I suppose, and the one that takes, depending on the tool, can take the most amount of time, is called end-to-end testing. The difference between the two is, of course, that a unit testing is where you are testing your individual pieces of your code, like the actual logic of your code, to make sure that it conforms to certain rules, that it's handling edge cases appropriately. And then end-to-end tests is where you actually get to see the completed version of your UI and have it work with other components or other pieces of your applications, like your store. Like, let's say you have state management on your web application, so you have to handle the store and see if the store is returning data. Same thing with your API endpoints that are retrieving services to present data onto the page. Out of those two, I think end-to-end tests are the most important, and the ones that, if you had to pick which test to focus on, I would say focus on the end-to-end tests. Now, the reason I decided to make a video today about this is because I'm currently working in a project where I was in a meeting with other members of the development team, and some of them were joking that they wanted to skip some unit tests from the work that they delivered, that they submitted and merged into our main branch for a repo. And the reason they felt this way, I read from the conversation, is because the amount of time that it was taking them to write the tests was about the same or longer in some cases than it was for them to implement the actual code. And that is bad. And it's something that is bad, I think, mainly in Angular, whenever you are working with that framework using the out-of-the-box Karma and Jasmine testing framework, just because that framework uses this thing called the testbed, right? Angular included this way of you testing your components called the testbed that allows for you to import all of the necessary pieces in order for you to help with rendering or instantiating the component in real time, and allowing you to essentially query your component for elements that are present in the view. If you wanted to test the UI in your unit test, you could, using the testbed. If you wanted to test the logic, just the logic, you could as well, and you could actually skip the testbed. But most people don't know about this, because when you're using the Angular CLI, you're typically given a template test file for you to start adding your test, and in this template file, the testbed is included. So most people are just assume, hey, I'm just gonna use the testbed and then do all of my imports. You go out into the documentation for code onto the web, you're gonna find a lot of this code is using the testbed as well. So most people don't know that you don't have to use the testbed. Anyway, bottom line, through the use of the testbed, sometimes there's a lot of configuration and setup that needs to go in place, and then you run into some weird issues when you are working with Karma and Jasmine, and it takes a significant amount of time for developers to just go in there and create their tests. And that is bad, because some of these developers who may be coming into a project may already not be accustomed to testing, and then you add another level of friction for them to create tests for their project work, and it just doesn't pan out well, because they don't want to add tests anymore. So in order for you to really make good use of your time, try not to aim to test just for testing's sake. Like maybe if you're aiming to just achieve a particular code coverage, don't do it. Don't aim for code coverage. Instead, aim for your code and business logic, core business logic to be tested for edge cases, and then for your success criteria for your user stories or feature stories that you're completing, perform those using end-to-end tests. Just take the happy path, make sure that all of your success criteria has been completed and validated via the end-to-end tests, and just move on. Because if your developers are spending way too much time on just the setup and teardown of your unit, of your tests, and a significant amount of time, a more significant amount of time spent there than creating the tests, that is bad. That is bad. So sometimes what you can do is maybe you can also have tools that speed up the testing of your components. So for example, there's nothing wrong with you continuing to use Karma and Jasmine. If you can, focus on just performing logic tests for your unit tests, and then your end-to-end tests, go ahead and use Protractor. But even better, and an even better solution, switch from Protractor to Cypress, which is another great tool to help you with your end-to-end testing. And you'll find that you'll go a lot faster using that tool than leveraging Protractor, because Protractor can get very tedious and very cumbersome to use and configure correctly. So focus on the logic for your unit tests, and only key logic for your unit tests. Don't focus on the UI too much. And then for your functional testing, and to confirm that your success criteria for your stories have been met, do end-to-end tests and focus all of your remaining time there. Hopefully that should help you prioritize testing accordingly. All right, thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. This has been Guillermo Arellano. Bye-bye.